Welcome to another exciting episode from Marvelous Videos. I'm your host, Tia Ayer. Love, Death, and Robots, Night of the Many Dead Season 3, Episode 4. There was always a lighter, non-serious undertone to most of the stories in the previous seasons of Love, Death, and Robots. While the third season has been pretty impressive so far, the ominous tone of the narrative and the grim seriousness of the situation were making us a wee bit uncomfortable. The second and third episodes in particular were a bit too brutal and real, and we needed a much-needed break. Welcome, Episode 4, the most adorable zombie apocalypse that you will come across. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. How can a zombie apocalypse be adorable? Well, this must be the first question that comes to mind when we talk about Night of the Many Dead. It has everything that you would expect from the perfect zombie flick: an outbreak, the horrifying events, and eventually mass destruction. Yet the whole thing has been constructed in such a lighter tone that you will have a smile on your face throughout the narrative. So how does it all begin? The one to be blamed for the outbreak is actually a horny young couple who think it might be a good idea to drive into a graveyard and get cozy in the middle of the night. Their passionate session ends up breaking the statue of what looks like an angel, or Mother Mary. A simultaneous lightning strike gets the cross inside the statue up in flames, and the overall sequence of events probably triggered something to commence the rise of the dead, or the many dead. The zombies rising from the grave slaughter the couple in seconds. But they don't stop at that. The next scene takes us into the heart of some busy city traffic, and soon we will see a couple of joggers face the same fate as the young couple. The number of the dead rising up to fight the living seems to have considerably increased, and it becomes clear that the many of their victims are being added to their force in the typical rule of zombie conversion. Things start to go from bad to worse, and we witness cities falling under the wrath of the murderous zombies. They take over streets, take down governments, and kill just about every living creature in sight. The survivors try to run away, but in vain, and all the means adopted by the government to control the outbreak yields no result. The militaries fail under the sheer number of zombies, and human life comes to a standstill. The scene quickly shifts to various countries, and we see glimpses of the Eiffel Tower, a Chinese monastery of martial artists, and some small town in Asia. They all have the same fate. However, as the zombies run through the defenses, in a matter of minutes, even Canada is not spared, and we see a bloodied ice hockey field as an example of all the devastation that took place. There are efforts to fight back, and everything from the Air Force to flame-throwing trucks is used on the dead, but their numbers are simply too high, and the resistance is never able to break through. What looks like the White House initially shows the man in charge denying the presence of any zombies.
Hello, zombies? Not in our country!
But soon the building is circled off by hordes of zombies from all sides. With no escape possible, the man in charge decides to use the nuclear weapons. There is probably retaliation from other countries as well, and soon things turn catastrophic. Hundreds of warheads are launched from various parts of the world, and the last scene is an overview of the galaxy, when we see a tiny flash of light signifying the destruction of the planet and humanity, and the adorable zombie apocalypse comes to an end. Does the apocalypse point to the insignificance of humanity? What are we humans in comparison to the vastness of the universe? How insignificant is the Earth when compared to the Milky Way? Well, these are some of the heavy-duty philosophical questions, and the light-hearted zombie flick might just be pointing to that. From what we understand, the young couple ended up unleashing some kind of a curse that brought about the zombie apocalypse. Since then, it was a lost cause and a losing battle for humanity as the zombie forces started to take over more and more territory. Finally, the numerous nuclear weapons launched together seemed to have been the final nail in the coffin. Clearly, there was no hope for humanity left, and the final flash of tiny light in the galaxy signifies the end of the Earth. It just goes to point towards the sheer irrelevance and insignificance of our existence. Besides, this could have been a reason to portray everything in a miniaturized version. It is one of the things that make it such an adorable watch in the first place because the scenes just light up with tiny humans fighting tiny tiny zombies with their tiny guns and weapons. Whatever be the implications, this episode simply goes on to show that even a brief zombie flick might have all the ingredients to entertain the fans. It was a much-needed variety in this season and kept the balance steady after the first 3 super serious episodes. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe.